Have you ever wondered how one person could define an entire era? Let's talk about Queen Victoria, the woman who didn't just wear a crown but shaped the world we know today. Her reign, lasting an incredible 63 years, wasn't just a long time. It was a whirlwind of change that we now call the Victorian Age. From steam engines to sprawling empires, she was at the heart of it all. Let's rewind to 1819. A little girl named Alexandrina Victoria is born at Kensington Palace. Her childhood was anything but ordinary. It was strictly controlled by something called the Kensington System, designed to keep her isolated and dependent. Imagine growing up with every moment of your day micromanaged. But this strict upbringing couldn't contain her spirit. Then, in 1837, everything changed. Her uncle, King William IV, passed away, and at just 18 years old, Victoria was thrust onto the throne. Can you imagine the pressure? A teenager becoming the most powerful woman in the world. In those early days, she was inexperienced and leaned heavily on her Prime Minister, Lord Melbourne. He became her mentor, teaching her the intricate dance of politics and how to be a modern constitutional monarch, a ruler who reigns but doesn't rule directly. This was a crucial lesson that would define her entire reign. 3 years later, in 1840, her life changed again, this time in a much more personal way. She married her first cousin, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. And let me tell you, this was no mere political arrangement. It was a genuine, passionate love story. Victoria was completely smitten with Albert, and their letters are filled with affection. He wasn't just her husband. He became her rock, her partner in everything. Albert was intelligent, forward-thinking, deeply dedicated to his new country. He became her most trusted advisor, championing causes like social reform and the abolition of slavery. Albert had a vision for Britain as a leader in arts, science, and industry. His crowning achievement was the Great Exhibition of 1851, held in the spectacular Crystal Palace, a massive structure of glass and iron. It was like the world's first World's Fair. It showcased inventions and marvels from all over the globe, a symbol of Britain's industrial might and a beacon of progress. It was a massive success and truly put Britain on the world stage as a technological powerhouse. For Victoria and Albert, it was a moment of immense pride and a testament to their shared vision. But their fairy tale was destined for a tragic end. In 1861, at the young age of 42, Prince Albert died suddenly from typhoid fever. For Victoria, the loss was catastrophic. Her world shattered. The man who was her husband, her best friend, and her closest confidant was gone. She was plunged into a deep, profound grief that would last for the rest of her life. From that day forward, she wore black, becoming the famous widow of Windsor. She withdrew from public life for many years, her sorrow shaping her image and, in many ways, the public's perception of the monarchy. While Victoria mourned privately, the world outside the palace walls kept changing at a breakneck pace. This was the age of the British Empire, an empire on which the sun, as they said, never set. Under her reign, British influence stretched across the globe to Canada, Australia, India, and vast parts of Africa. The expansion was driven by trade, industrial power, and a belief in Britain's civilizing mission. The key moment in this imperial story came in 1877. The Prime Minister, Benjamin Disraeli, a man Victoria greatly admired, had her proclaimed Empress of India. This new title wasn't just symbolic. It solidified her status as the figurehead of a global empire. It tied the monarchy directly to Britain's imperial identity and projected an image of immense power and prestige around the world. The famous red of British maps covered nearly a quarter of the globe. Back home, the Industrial Revolution was transforming every aspect of life. Railways crisscrossed the country, connecting cities and towns like never before. Factories churned out goods, creating immense wealth, but also new social problems like urban poverty and harsh working conditions. Science was making incredible leaps forward with thinkers like Charles Darwin challenging long-held beliefs. It was an era of immense contradiction, of incredible progress and deep-seated social inequality, of scientific discovery and steadfast religious faith. And Victoria, as the nation's symbolic head, presided over it all. After her long period of seclusion, Victoria gradually returned to the public eye, transformed from a young queen into the grandmother of Europe. Her children and grandchildren married into royal families across the continent, weaving a complex web of dynastic ties. In 1887, she celebrated her Golden Jubilee, marking 50 years on the throne. The public response was overwhelming. The woman who had been a recluse was now celebrated as a beloved symbol of stability and national pride. The streets of London were filled with cheering crowds and grand processions. 10 years later, in 1897, came the Diamond Jubilee 60 years. This celebration was even grander, a massive festival of empire, with representatives from all corners of the globe coming to London to pay homage. Victoria, now a small, elderly woman in black, was the undisputed matriarch of her nation and its empire. These jubilees weren't just parties. They were powerful displays of national unity and affection for a monarch who had been a constant presence for generations. Finally, in 1901, at the age of 81, Queen Victoria passed away at Osborne House, with her family by her side. Her death marked the end of an era. The world she left behind was almost unrecognizable from the one she had inherited as a young girl. Horse-drawn carriages were giving way to motor cars, and candlelight was being replaced by electric light. So, what is her lasting legacy? It's massive. She didn't just lend her name to an age. She redefined the monarchy itself. She transformed it from a political power player into a moral and symbolic institution, a figurehead representing family values, duty, and national unity. This new model of constitutional monarchy is largely the one that persists in Britain today. Her legacy is written in the architecture of cities around the world, in the names of places from Victoria Falls in Africa to Victoria, British Columbia in Canada. But more than that, it's embedded in the values that came to define her era: a strong sense of duty, the importance of family, and an unshakable belief in progress. She was a queen, a wife, a mother, and an empress who, through her long and eventful life, became the very symbol of her time. The story of Queen Victoria is the story of how a single individual can embody the spirit of a nation and leave an indelible mark on history. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.